All right, let's just get right into it. If you're a senior leader, you're probably drowning in AI hype. You really don't need another article about its potential. What you need is a real structure, a reliable way to turn all those clever experiments into a daily habit, something your organization can actually count on to get results.
And, just look at the data. It tells a pretty stark story. AI adoption, it's gone through the roof. About 72% of companies are using it. But when you ask about real scaled-out business impact, that number plummets to less than a quarter. There is a massive gap between just having AI and actually getting value from it.
In this gap, it leads to this quiet, creeping failure that we call zombie AI. You know the scene. The assistant is technically running, the dashboard is still up, but nobody's actually using it to make decisions anymore. The value has just evaporated. And let's be clear, this is not a failure of the tech itself. It's implementation debt. It's the hidden cost of poorly integrated tools that are just sitting there, taking up space. And that really gets us to the heart of the problem here. The reason so many of these promising AI initiatives turn into zombies isn't because the models are bad, no. It's because the operating model, the human system that's supposed to be built around the technology, is broken. So, do any of these sound familiar? You've got ownership drift, right? That feeling where a tool launches and then crickets. Nobody's really in charge of it anymore. Or how about building on data sand? Using information that, if you're being honest, nobody on the team really trusts. Or maybe the AI's output is fine, but it's just kind of adjacent to the workflow, not really in the daily rhythm of how people work. And maybe the worst one of all, there's absolutely no feedback loop to make the thing any better. These are the little cracks that eventually caused a whole structure to crumble.
And look, fixing these cracks, it goes way beyond just tinkering with the process. As Sarah Stone McDevitt from HubSpot puts it so well, the real work isn't just managing the tech, it's about managing the human connections around it. Trust, communication, relationships, that's what turns a clever tool into a real competitive advantage. It's the human infrastructure that really, truly matters.
So, how do we fix this? Well, it takes a pretty fundamental shift in mindset. We have to stop treating AI like a series of one-off isolated projects and start treating intelligence as what it should be, infrastructure. Think about it like electricity in your office. It should be totally invisible when it works, and its absence should be painfully obvious when it fails. And the difference here, it's night and day, really. When you treat AI as a project, you get these isolated pilots, you get that operational decay that creates the zombies, and you get these unpredictable ad hoc results. But when you treat AI as infrastructure, you build something that delivers compounding value, you get durable adoption from your teams, and most importantly, you earn embedded trust across the entire organization. This is where a framework becomes absolutely essential. So let's talk about FLAIR. Think of it as a practical, pragmatic blueprint designed to make that intelligence as infrastructure mindset a reality. It gives you the clear structure you need to scale intelligence reliably and, to avoid the zombies. Now, let's be clear. FLAIR is not about going out and buying more tech. It's about creating a sustainable rhythm for how your data, your systems, and your teams all work together. It's a system for managing intelligence as a core, dependable part of your business.
It all breaks down into 5 pretty straightforward phases. First, you build a solid foundation. That means clean data and clear processes. Then, you leverage that by focusing on what matters most, the highest impact uses. Next, you activate new tools, but with crystal clear ownership. You build iteration into the process from day one, so improvement is a habit. And finally, you get to realization, where you scale and embed the things that are actually working.
Okay, so that's the theory. Sounds good, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at how some major companies have put these principles into practice, even if they didn't call it FLAIR, and got some pretty incredible results.
Let's kick things off with DBS Bank. They were facing a classic problem: dozens and dozens of scattered AI pilots all over the company. It was creating inconsistency, risk, and honestly, a lot of wasted effort. They needed a unified structure, and they needed it fast.
Under their old project-by-project way of doing things, getting a new AI model from an idea into actual deployment took them, on average, a staggering 15 months. It was just way too slow to have any real impact on the business.
But then they got structured. They built internal platforms, a solid operating model. And that deployment time, it dropped to less than 3 months. That's an 80% reduction. It's just a massive testament to what happens when you build the right infrastructure around your intelligence. And you see this pattern everywhere. Unilever was dealing with duplication and AI fatigue, so they unified their data governance and were able to scale their Onabot to 36 markets. Vodafone had different teams building the same exact tools over and over. They created an AI as a platform model, and boom, cut redundant development in half. The pattern is crystal clear. Structure drives success.
So what's the real payoff here? When you get this right, the impact goes so far beyond just being a little more efficient. A better operating model delivers a compounding return that can genuinely transform your business. And let's talk numbers, because they're pretty significant. Research shows that organizations with these kinds of formal AI frameworks see a return on investment of 100 to 150%. They see productivity gains of 20 to 30%. They can even see a 3 to 5% lift in revenue. We're talking about tangible, bottom-line impact.
But maybe the biggest impact of all isn't even financial. It's cultural. As one client put it, the big switch flips when you stop asking, is the AI right? And you start asking, what does the AI tell us about how we're working? That is the moment it stops being just another project and truly becomes infrastructure.
So this leaves us with one final, crucial question for you to think about. When you look at your own organization's efforts, is your AI being built to last? Does it have the structure and the rhythm to endure? Or is it just another zombie in the making, quietly waiting to decay? The choice, ultimately, is about structure, not just technology.